So good morning everyone, my name is Lalit Soni and you are watching Drishti IAS. In this live session, we will be discussing today's Indian Express and we will go through some important articles which can be important for your prelims as well as main examination. When we are talking about the role of the newspaper, you know that in the last prelims there are many questions which were taken from the newspaper. Otherwise, if not from the newspaper, you can say that there was certain backward linkage which was attached with the, you can say, articles of the newspaper or the news events which has happened. Okay, so that is there. When we are talking about mains, obviously editorials are important for you, so please keep a tap on that. Otherwise, we'll be going through these explain sections, so that can be important for you. Okay, so let's start today's discussion. We'll start with the practice question and then we'll move to these articles. Great Nicobar projects. There is this project when we are talking about Andaman Nicobar's Great Nicobar Island. There is this government's project, that is Great Nicobar project. This is to increase the infrastructure over there and to make sure the logistics capability is increased over there, because it is on a major sea route. Okay, so you know that Malacca Strait sea route is passing through that particular area, so you can say that it is on the sea route, so we are trying to capitalize it. Okay, that is one thing, but there is certain concerns, environmental concerns which are there, so we will talk about those concerns as well. Then coming to the next one, that is who is Pro-tem speaker. Okay, so when we talk about Pro-tem speaker, so it is in news because obviously our new Lok Sabha will be assembling for the first time, and it will be under the chairmanship of the pro-tem speaker for initially, and then pro-tem speaker will help you actually go for the election of speaker. Okay, so we'll talk about this. We will see what are the provisions which are given in the constitution, if at all they are there. Okay, dormant black hole rose to life. Okay, so there was this black hole. Oh, so it was dormant earlier, but recently there has been some pictures where we have seen that the black hole has came back to life. That means that it was reactivated again. So we will see that as well. From around the world, we will see some news articles and one or two maps over there. And then next is your own read. For your own read, there will be one article. Okay, in the end we will be discussing a practice question. So let's start with the practice question which was given to you in the previous lecture. Okay, what is primary therapeutic use of mifepristone? Okay, so when we are talking about the mifepristone, okay, so here it is related for the medical termination of pregnancy, or you can say abortions. Okay, so option C would be a right answer over here. It is a true drug system over there. Okay, so here you can say it is part of true drug regime. Okay, for one is your mifepristone, that is to block the progesterone, but which is essential for the pregnancy. Okay, and second is misoprostol. Misoprostol is basically used for triggering the contractions. So misoprostol is used for the contractions, so that the whatever fetus was there inside the uterus, that need to be cleaned out from that particular area, and that is why the two drug regime is there. One is mifepristone, which actually blocks the progesterone, and then there is misoprostol, which is to clean the uterus. Okay, now coming to the first article, which is for us to discuss today: strategic imperative and environmental concerns in Great Nicobar project. Okay, before going further into it, we will just go through this map over here. Here you can see this is the area of your Bay of Bengal and further you can say Indian Ocean over here. Okay, so this area, this is your Malacca Strait. Okay, this is Sabang port. Okay, so Sabang, Malacca is there. So this Malacca Strait, basically China's trade is happening through this particular strait. Okay, and then from here they will go like this. So you know that this area, Great Nicobar Island, is on this particular route. Okay, so that is why it becomes important economically as well. Second thing is, China is trying to make you can say influence over there in this particular region. When we are talking about the area, since India is over here and China is trying to cover India from all the you can say directions. So there is this you can say, we have talked about this particular policy of China. Okay, so string of pearls, we have talked about it. So string of pearls, when we are talking about, what is China trying to do is, they are trying to cover India from all the direction when we are talking about the maritime security over here. So that is why also China's you can say presence is increasing in this particular area. For India, it is important to have a good military capacities over here when we are talking about the Andaman and Nicobar group of islands. Okay, so that is why this particular area becomes important, like ports like Sitwe, which is in Myanmar, Chittagong or Chittagong, that is in Bangladesh. Okay, then this Sabang. Okay, then Hambantota, these ports are quite important, these Cocos Island, these are important, and these are strategic locations. Okay, so that is why you can just remember all these things from this particular map. Now coming to the article, when we are talking about this particular infrastructure project, so you can say that it is a 72,000 crores infra upgrade project in the Great Nicobar Island. Okay, and it is posing a threat to environment over there. These are the words of environmentalist. Even the Congress party right now, the opposition is also trying to say certain things about it, that is it is against the tribal rights over there. Other than that, there are certain environmental concerns also. Okay, so we'll go through those things one by one. So let's start. The Congress party has described the proposed 72,000 crore infra upgrade at the Great Nicobar Island as the grave threat to the island's indigenous inhabitants and the fragile ecosystem. Indigenous inhabitants means tribal communities which are living over here. Okay, and then the tribes like Shompen, then we have Nicobaris. So these are the tribes which are living in this particular area of Great Nicobar. When we are talking about the Great Nicobar's location, you can say it is you can say in the south of the Andaman Nicobar group. When we are talking about the whole group, this is the southern part of it, and here we have this point, that is Indira Point. You know that when we are talking about the last point of you can say mainland India, that is Kanyakumari, and when we talk about the southernmost point of Indian territory, then we can say that that is Indira Point, that is in the Great Nicobar. Okay, so that is the expanse of Andaman and Nicobar Islands. So here there are these tribal communities like Shompen and then Nicobaris, these are living over here. Other than that also, you know that it is one of the hotspot as well. Okay, so there is economic aspect which is attached to it, so that is there. So here you can see inhabitants and the fragile ecosystems, and demanded immediate suspension of all the clearances through impartial review of the proposed project. Okay, so basically what they are saying, that in 2023 there are certain clearances which has been given to this particular project. After that there was this case which was made in front of National Green Tribunal Kolkata bench, but that Kolkata bench said that they will not be interfering with the clearances which has been given, though they have recommended a high level committee which will decide on the matter. Okay, other than when we are talking about the NGT's decision that has been given, after that they that has been challenged in the further appellate tribunals as well, but again at that point of time that appeal was dismissed. So they have not talked anything about the clearance, but here opposition party is saying that they should these clearances should be suspended. Okay, so right now when we are talking about this, there is a high level committee, there is a recommendation of you can say National Green Tribunal, and on the basis of which there is supposed to be a high level committee. Okay, now coming to the next part, Great Nicobar is the southernmost and the largest of the Nicobar Islands. So when we are talking about the Andaman and Nicobar Island, so in Nicobars, this is the largest island and this is the southernmost point of India. Mainly tropical rainforest in the southeastern Bay of Bengal. This is Bay of Bengal, and in this area we know that this is southeastern region where we have Great Nicobar, and this is mostly a tropical region or tropical vegetation is there. Other than that, as I discussed, this is also a hotspot, so diversity is very good over here. Okay, so that is why it is a fragile ecosystem, or you can say very sensitive ecosystem. Then here you can see the mainly tropical rainforest of in the southernmost Bay of Bengal. Indira Point on the island, India's southernmost point, is 90 nautical miles from the Sabang port. Okay, this is Sabang port. Now when we are talking about this Sabang port, why this is important? Because this is the area from which you can say this whole traffic is going, or the sea route. It is a sea route, so all the shipments and the shipment traffic is going through this particular area. Okay, the largest island of the Indonesian archipelago. Okay, so this over there we have the Indonesia and the Indonesian archipelago, and this is the largest island of that is basically over here, that is Sumatra. Island's name is Sumatra, and in Sumatra we have this port, that is Sabang. Okay, so on Sumatra Island we have this Sabang port which is important for us. Okay, now there are two national parks. Okay, one is basically your Galathea National Park is there. Okay, so other one is also present over there, and then there is one one biosphere reserve is also there. So we can say that that is also indicative of the diversity which is over there, and we are trying to protect that. Okay, other than that, Shompens and the Nicobaris tribal people are living over there. Other than that, few thousands non-tribal settlers are also living in this particular area. Okay, when we talk about Andaman and Nicobar, it is a group of 836 islands. Okay, so now from this particular discussion we can take 2-3 things. That is, first, when we are talking about Andaman and Nicobar, that is India's island that is in the southern southeastern Bay of Bengal, and it is an archipelago of 836 islands. Okay, out of which, when we are talking about Nicobar, Nicobar's largest is basically your Great Nicobar Island, and in Great Nicobar Island we are having this particular project. There are few tribes which are living over there, that is Shompen and the Nicobaris. Okay, and this is the area where 2 national parks are there, 1 biosphere reserve is there, so you can go and check it out. Okay, Andaman and Nicobar Islands are the cluster of 836 islands, 2 groups, Andaman Island also to the north and the Nicobar in the south. Okay, that is there. In the north we have Andaman and in the south we have Nicobar, and these two are basically, when we are talking about this is separated by a 10-degree channel. That is important for you to remember, that is 10-degree channel. It is written somewhere over here. Okay, fine. So you can keep a tap on that. Then second, when we are talking about this particular project, what is the project over here is, that is Andaman and Nicobar Island Integrated Development Corporation is there, and they are going for a project, that is International Container Transshipment Terminal, that is ICTT, a greenfield, that is one thing, transshipment terminal. Other than that, there is another airport. Okay, so greenfield airport is also building over there, and a township and the gas and solar based power plants are also being established. Okay, so under this particular infra project, all these activities are included. So this is a holistic development plan of Andaman and Nicobar. Okay, now moving further, it is a strategic location of the island. As I told you, in this area 3 things are important. One is your China's presence. Recently you must have heard that we are trying to go for the integrated theater commands. Okay, that is there. When we are talking about Andaman and Nicobar, we already have a tri-service command. Tri-service command means that we have presence of all the 3 services in Andaman and Nicobar. That is India's only tri-service command. Okay, so that is there. So that is why it becomes important. Second thing is China's presence. We are trying to basically, minimize or make sure that in our backyard China is having a minimal, or you can say, influence. Okay, so that is second thing. Third thing is, it is on the sea route. Okay, now to make sure that the free and open navigation is there. Okay, second thing is to make sure that there is no supply chain constraint. So such choke points becomes important for you. Okay, so if we are having a control on this particular area, we will we can make sure that China will not go for any aggressive action, because obviously China's whole trade is mostly dependent on that. Okay, when we are talking about this particular trade, China's oil trade is almost dependent on this particular region. Okay, so that is there. We have already talked about the greenfield city which they are actually trying to build over here. When we are talking about the project itself, where it is located, so it is located actually to a remote area where habitation is very less. Okay, that is there. Coming to this Galathea Bay, as I told you, this is the area where they are going for the project, that is Galathea Bay on the southeastern corner of the Great Nicobar Island. There is no human habitation. Okay, and forest clearance and the environment clearance has been given in October 2022. Then strategic importance, we have seen that it is in the Bay of Bengal and further Indian Ocean, and they are having the, when we are talking about the maritime security, it is important. Other than that, Chinese influence related things, China's People's Liberation Army is basically showing some kind of aggression in that particular area. Not aggression, I would say that they are trying to increase their sphere of influence, like when we are talking about this Cocos Island. So there is this military base which has been established by China on this Coco Island, that is island of Myanmar. Okay, now it is, let's see, it is with the vicinity of Andaman and Nicobar. That is one thing. Second, it is in the, you can say, in our backyard. So that is another thing. Other than that, that there is this Kwakpyo port of Myanmar. Okay, so that is why it is important. Other than that, here you can see Hambantota. Hambantota is under the 99 years lease. It is with China right now. Okay, so that is also there in our backyard. So that is why it is important that we enhance the military capabilities in this particular region. Okay, so that is there. Indo-Pacific choke point, as I told you, this Malacca Strait, that is considered as the Indo-Pacific choke point, because the thing is, this is Indian Ocean, and then other that side we will have this South China Sea, and then further Pacific Ocean. So this is a choke point because this is a very narrow area from which the most of the shipments are passing through. Okay, so that is why the traffic is very high over here, but area is very narrow, and that is why it is called a choke point with respect to the trade. Okay, so that is there. Malacca, Sunda, Lombok, these are the choke point areas. Okay, military facilities at Coco Island. That is what I told you, that China has built a military facility over here. Okay, then major military infrastructure upgrade was underway at Andaman and Nicobar Island, including revamping airfields, jetties, building additional logistics and the storage facilities, a base for military personnel, a robust surveillance infrastructure. These are basically, you can say, plans which are related to the defense and security. Okay, again you can see they are trying to build a military infrastructure over there. Other than that, they are trying to revamp the airfield and the jetties. Okay, building additional logistics and the storage facilities over there, base base for a military personnel, and the robust surveillance system. Surveillance system is necessary in this area because of the activities which are happening right now. Okay, it is aimed at facilitating the deployment of the additional military forces, larger and more warships, aircrafts, missile batteries and troops. Okay, close surveillance, which we have already talked about. So that is crucial for India's national security as well. Okay, so that is why this area is quite important for us. Now moving further, environmental concern, as I told you, this is an island which is a hotspot. So ecology of this island is important. That is an indicative ecology. So it is quite sensitive. Okay, other than that, when we see there are certain tribes which are living over there. So if you are going for any kind of big project over here, that will definitely impact these tribes. So that is second concern. Recently, there was this news that when we are talking about the local administration over there, as per the rules, the before the clearance, they should also be talked to. But the thing is, here they are saying that they were not given the whole information. Okay, so that was another concern. Okay, so these are certain things which are concerned, which are some ecological as well as the concerns from the people who are living over there, mostly the tribes. Okay. Other than that, when we are talking about this particular area, that is earthquake prone area, or you can say seismic activity prone area. There was this tsunami back then. When we are talking about 2004, there was this tsunami, and because of that particular tsunami, there was this disturbance in the internal activities which has happened, which is happening inside the earth, or you can say the seismic activities. So here you can say here also pointed out that the proposed port is in a seismically volatile zone that shows permanent subsidence of 15 feet during 2004 tsunami. So there was this subsidence which has happened in 2004 tsunami. So if that area is unstable, okay, because of, and you are going for such project over there, so there can be some certain concerns related to that as well. Okay, like when we are talking about the development which is happening in the Himalayan areas. Now Himalayas are also prone to seismic activities. Okay, and the kind of load which we are putting on them, or kind of burden which we are putting on the Himalayas, because of which we will see that in the further time there can be activities like landslides, etc., which will increase over there. Okay, because of the kind of traffic which we are sending over there. Similarly, if this is also a earthquake prone area or the seismically active area or the volatile area, and if you are going for building such infrastructure project, there might be some concerns related to it. So for that, we need to have a particular you can say when we are talking about the NGT over here, so they have said that there can be a high level committee which can look into the concerns. Okay, so that is about this article. For your takeaway, you can see what are the name of the project, what we are trying to do over there, why it is important for us to go for such project over there, that is because that is a strategically important area. Okay, other than that, these locations which we discussed in the start of the discussion, so that locations can be important for you. Okay, I hope this much is enough from this particular article. Now moving further to the next one, that is pro-tem speaker. Okay, now let's understand what is happening, what happens when the new Lok Sabha is actually entered for the first time in the parliament. When we are talking about Lok Sabha, we know that general elections has happened 2024, and we have a new Lok Sabha that will assemble for the first time. Okay, and when they will assemble for the first time, the last, or you can say outgoing speaker, that the outgoing speaker will vacate the office the day when that new Lok Sabha will assemble. Okay, till then he will be there in the office. Okay, so speaker will not vacate the office, or speaker's office will not vacate when the Lok Sabha is dissolved, but it will actually leave the office when the new Lok Sabha is assembling. Okay, when the new Lok Sabha assembles, so at that point of time, someone has to be on the chair, someone has to be the chairperson. Okay, so the president will go for appointment of pro-tem speaker. Now the point over here is that this speaker will administer the oath of the new members. That is one thing. Second, he will facilitate the elections of the speaker. Okay. So the pro-tem speaker, with this term pro-tem means that for the time being or the temporary. Okay. So you can say that temporary speaker or the for time being the speaker. Now who will appoint it? It is appointed by the president. Okay. Now to support this particular pro-tem speaker, there will be 3 other members. Okay. They will also be appointed by the president, but the thing is, president will administer the oath of pro-tem speaker. Then pro-tem speaker will administer the oath of these members. Okay. So I hope this is clear. Other than that, when we are talking about the pro-tem speaker, who will become the pro-tem speaker? So conventionally, as of when we are talking about this particular provisions, it is not written somewhere that the senior most member will be the pro-tem speaker. But the thing is, it is convention that the senior most member is chosen for that. Okay, and then other 3 senior most member will also be included in that particular team, and they will be helping him. Okay, what happens is that there will be a, you can say, list of the name which will be suggested to the prime minister. This list will be of the senior most members, and then prime minister will give these names to the after approval of the prime minister, these name will be sent to the president, and president will go for the approval. Okay, so that is about pro-tem speaker. Now let's come to the article. Okay, so the 18th Lok Sabha will hold its first session July 24th, June 24th to July 3rd. Okay, and new speaker will be elected. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will move the motion for the election of the speaker in the Lok Sabha on June 26. Congress leader K. Suresh, 8-term MP, is expected to be appointed as the pro-tem speaker because he is the senior most. Okay, K. Suresh, Congress leader. Okay, now who is the pro-tem speaker? As I told you, presiding officer of the Lok Sabha, speaker has to fulfill certain duties. Okay, and it is elected by the simple majority. When we are talking about the speaker, election of speaker is by simple majority. So that is important for you. When we are talking about the speaker, speaker mostly generally is taken from the majority or the ruling party. Then when we are talking about the deputy speaker will be taken from the opposition party. That is, these are conventions. Okay, so that is there. So with the simple majority in the lower house, until the speaker is elected, pro-tem speaker is appointed to administer the some important duties. Pro-tem means for the time being or the temporary. Constitution does not mention this particular post. Okay, Constitution does not mention this post. The handbook on the working of Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs mention the appointment and the swearing of the pro-tem speaker. Okay, so that is not given in the Constitution, but again there is this handbook under which it is given. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, so how is the pro-tem speaker chosen? As I told you, when the speaker's post is vacant, just before the Lok Sabha is about to meet, okay, the duties of speaker are to be performed by a member of the house appointed for this purpose by the president as pro-tem speaker pro-tem or the pro-tem speaker. Senior most MP is appointed as the speaker pro-tem. Here you can see 3 other MPs, the next in the seniority, are appointed to assist the speaker pro-tem. Okay, legislative one section of the legislative department will prepare a list, and that list will be submitted to the Ministry of Parliamentary Affairs or the Prime Minister, and then after the approval of Prime Minister, that name will be sent to the here you can say after the approval of the Prime Minister, name will be sent to the MP, the one who is to be pro-tem speaker. We will be sending the name to that particular MP for his consent, and after that, that name will be you can say submitted to the president, seeking approval for their appointments. Okay, then date and time of the ceremony will be decided. Then president approves and president administers the oath of pro-tem speaker, and then pro-tem speaker will be administering the oath of the 3 senior most other members which they are supposed to help them, and all these things will happen at the Rashtrapati Bhavan. There is no decided time for that, but mostly before the Lok Sabha is meeting, you know that Lok Sabha assembles, you can say the session starts at 11 a.m. So this swearing in ceremony will start at 9:30 a.m. Okay, otherwise as per the convenience of the president. Okay, so that is about pro-tem speaker and why it is important. Okay, now when we are talking about, one more thing I would like to tell over here is that when we are talking about the speaker is the member of when we are talking about the Lok Sabha, and from that particular, when we are talking about the eligibility, this is one of the eligibility, that he should be the member of that particular house. Okay, then when he becomes the speaker, then he will not be voting in the first instance. Okay, he will be voting when there is a deadlock. Okay, so that is why he will have a casting vote. Okay, but not voting in the first instance. Okay, that is to ensure the, you can say, impartiality. Okay, so that is there. Now moving further, next is basically dormant supermassive black hole rose to life, new study says. Okay, there is nothing much about it, but I would like to tell you that when we are talking about the uh, when we are talking about the black holes or the other celestial bodies, these are working in a particular way. As of now, we did not see any kind of such activity which has happened, that whenever there was a dormant black hole, and it has not been reactivated. Okay, this is the first time we have seen something like that. When we talk about the black hole is an entity wherein the gravity is so high, it will try to engulf all the things which are in the vicinity, as well as it is so powerful. The gravity is so powerful, it will not even leave the light behind, it will also actually engulf the light over there. Okay, so that is about basically black hole. When we talk about this is particular thing which we are talking about, whenever there is a black hole, we will see a disk, accretion disk around here. Okay, and that will be having a lot of energy. You can see this will be a very bright disk over here, and this will be the area which is engulfing everything inside it. That is basically black hole. Okay, now here you can see researchers said that on Tuesday that they have observed a dramatic brightening at the heart of the galaxy, apparently caused by a supermassive black hole awakening from the dormancy and beginning to gorge itself into with a nearby materials. Okay, so it was dormant, it was not taking things inside. Okay, after a while, now recently there was this particular incident that has happened, because of which there was a a big bright light which has been witnessed, and they are saying that it has started to gorge things from the nearby areas. Okay, so beginning to gorge itself with the nearby materials, it marks the first time this process has been seen as it happens. Okay, the name of the galaxy is HDSS 1335 plus 0728, not important for us, so let it go. It is actually located nearly 360 million light years from the earth. Okay, so that is the distance. When we are talking about light years is basically a measure of distance in the space. Okay, when we are talking about 1 light year, that means that the distance light will travel in a year. Okay, so that is 9.5 trillion kilometers. Okay, so that is the distance into 360, that is the distance how far it is from the earth. Okay, now what are the findings? Here you can say black holes are the extraordinarily dense object with gravity so strong that not even light can escape it. Okay, because we know that the speed of light is highest, and even the light cannot escape it. Now the environment around the supermassive black hole can be violent, as it engulfs the materials within the gravitation grasp. Okay, so basically what happens over here is whatever is in the nearby vicinity of its gravity, it will actually succumb, or you can say it will create a vacuum kind of thing, and it will start sucking it inside the black hole. Okay, so that is basically, you can say, because of which there will be a you can say violent activities which will activities, or you can say violent environment which will be there. Okay, because obviously that particular body will try to resist that, and then it will be engulfing it. Okay, then researchers found that the spinning disk of diffuse material has formed around the black hole, that is with the sum of the matter being consumed. Okay, so as I told you, when it will be taking or sucking everything inside, there will be a disk which will be forming around it, because it will actually try to engulf everything from all the direction, and that is why there will be a disk. And since the environment is quite violent, and because of which this disk will have some amount of light and other radiations as well. Okay, so such disk is called accretion disk, radiates energy at very high temperature, sometimes outshining the entire galaxy. And that is what has been observed over here, because that dramatic brightening effect has been seen. Okay, on the basis of which the scientists are saying that that particular dormant black hole has came back to life. a bright and compact region such as this, powered by the supermassive black hole at the center of the galaxy, is called the active galactic nucleus. Okay, so when we are talking about this particular phenomena, active galactic nucleus, that means that a bright and the compact region such as this, that is your accretion disk, powered by the supermassive black hole at the center of the galaxy, is called the active galactic nuclei, then, or the nucleus. These nuclei are characterized by the emitting large amount of energy at various wavelengths or the variety of wavelengths. Okay, because when we are talking about the energy which will be generated, as I told you, it will be a shiny object. Okay, or it will be very bright phenomena over there. So this brightness is because of the radiations only. Okay, so that is why there will be various radiations of various wavelengths. Okay, what activates it? We don't know it. We don't know what is the reason behind it. So there are certain researchers which are saying that the black holes or any other entity per se, when we are talking about the universe, this is going through a phases. Okay, so for a phase it will be dormant, then it will reactivate, then it will be dormant again. So something like that, a cyclic process will be there. Like when we are talking about the temperature of Earth, earlier it was a icy cold body, then temperature increased, then again it was habitable, now it is increasing again. So something like that. We know that there are different ages, like we had ice age, then we came back to the normal one where we can survive, or you can say there is life which is so which is habitable on the planet. So basically what we are trying to say is that Earth is going through a cycle or the phases. Okay, similarly black hole can also go through such cycles. That is a natural process. So it could be a natural process as galaxies pass through different phases of activity and non-activity during their lifetime. Okay, so I hope that is clear. So yeah, there was this comment that I want to prepare in English medium only. See, if you are comfortable with English, it's all right. You can do it. There is no bar that you cannot. If you are from Hindi medium, you cannot do it. I myself was from Hindi medium, and I have come to the. I wrote my all my degrees etc. are from the English medium. So you can do it. Other than that, what is important for you is to understand or try to go for the reading as much as you can do from the newspaper etc. This will be very helpful in your exam otherwise as well. So focus on that. Okay, so you can do it. Now moving further, US lawmakers to meet the Dalai Lama, China urged Biden not to sign the Tibet bill. So in USA's parliament, if we can say, that these are called Senate and the Congress over there. So when we are talking about the USA's legislature, they have come up with a bill, okay, that is related to the Tibet. Okay, now that bill was there in the when USA. So China is saying that Biden should not be signing this bill. The thing is that has been passed by the both the you can say houses over there. So it is having a bipartisan support. Okay, so that is there. China has problem with it because when we are talking about Tibet, China consider that that is an internal affair of their. When we talk about Tibet, you know that there is a you can say government in exile which is operating from Dharamshala in India. Okay, so that is under Dalai Lama. Dalai Lama is basically spiritual you can say leader of Tibet. But again, when the time came or when the requirement was there, the need was felt that he should be into the political arena as well. So right now there is a government in exile which is operating from Dharamshala in India. Okay, so China does not have very the positive attitude to that. So in that regard, there was this article, we will be talking about that. In China, Tibet is referred as Xizang. Okay, this again I would write the spell Xizang region. Okay, so that is what they refer Tibet in that particular area, and they consider Tibet to be part of them. Okay, so coming to the article here, almost 2 years from the after the former Congress Speaker Nancy Pelosi went to Taiwan, she is visiting Dharamshala as a member of US congressional delegation led by US House Foreign Affairs Committee Chairman Michael McCall to meet Tibetan spiritual leader Dalai Lama. Okay, so earlier they have gone to this particular, when we are talking about this member, earlier when she was Speaker of US Congress, she has visited Taiwan. Okay, Taiwan is also an area where China says that Taiwan belongs to them, and Taiwan itself considered themselves as a sovereign you can say state. Okay, so these are the when we are talking about the China's aggressive policy, China has always tried to take small areas and consider that that these are theirs historically, and they are making this claim based on their history. Okay, again, so when she has visited to Taiwan, then they have their reservation. Now she has visited to Dharamshala, okay, and this article becomes important for us because we have very good, you can say, relations with Dalai Lama, because we have given them the asylum in India, okay. Now the delegation is on 2-day visit to Dharamshala and they will meet Dalai Lama. Pelosi has visited Taiwan in August 2022 and the Beijing has reacted strongly against the US delegation visit there as well, okay. So they have registered or you can say strongly said that they are not very happy about it. So that has happened in the case of Taiwan, and in this case also they are not very cheerful about it. Bill which was passed by Congress basically says that the United States of America stands with the people of Tibet, okay. Now this is the thing because of which China is having these problems. Now China says that this is our internal matter, you are not supposed to interfere in that, okay. But USA is having a bill which is saying that we are in support of people of Tibet, okay. Then Dharamshala is the seat of power of Tibet's government in exile since the spiritual leader stepped into India 6 decades ago. In Beijing, they have urged Biden not to sign the bipartisan Tibet policy bill adopted by the both US Senate and the House of Representatives over there. The bill would direct funds to the counter what it calls disinformation from Beijing about the Tibet's history, people and institutions. So basically what they are saying that they will be funding the whatever misinformation which has been generated by the China about Tibet, okay. So for that they will be giving direct funds, okay. So ultimately basically they are saying that they will be you can say helping the government in exile in some way or other, okay. So that is there to counter China's narrative about its control over Tibet and promote dialogue between the Chinese government and the Dalai Lama, okay. So that is there. Reacted sharply to the visit by the US delegation, urged US side to adhere to its commitment to recognize Xinjiang as a part of China and not supporting Xinjiang's independence. Chinese officially tells the you can say about the Tibet, okay. When we are talking about Xinjiang's independence, as I told you, this government in exile, they want back to go to their own country, their own motherland. But the thing is here, China is having control over that particular area, okay. Most of the time, most of the countries has actually recognized it, okay. When we are talking about you can say the asylum which we have, India has given, and when we are talking about the USA has actually supported the claim for a while. Now they are supporting Tibetan government in exile now, okay. Now it is known by all that the 14th Dalai Lama is not a purely religious figure. Now this is the statements which are made by the Chinese side of diplomats, or you can say Chinese government. They are saying that Dalai Lama is not just a spiritual or the pure religious figure, but it has a political exile engagement in anti-China separatist activities, okay. So that is the concern which China has, that they are plotting against China. Obviously you have taken their land, so they will have some kind of resentment with respect to China, okay. So you can go through this particular thing, nothing important, just China is trying to say that Tibet is their area and China should not interfere in that, okay. So that is about it. So that is there. So please know that when we are talking about the government in exile of Tibet, that is basically operating from Dharamshala in India, okay. Now moving further, next is related to your Israel deepens Rafah operations as US envoy visit Lebanon to stave off the wider war, okay. Now you know that this area has been in news. This article per se is not important. As I told you, we will be taking a map from particular articles. We have discussed all these things. As I told you, there are few people who will be starting their cycle or preparation cycle from this particular year. So for them we are trying to repeat these things which are contemporary issues which has been in news for like years now, okay. So coming to the article here, Israeli airstrike Tuesday killed at least 17 Palestinians in 2 of the Gaza Strip historical refugee camp, and Israeli tanks pushed deeper into the enclave in the Rafah, okay. So basically in the Rafah side they are basically going for the military operations or the strikes. That is not important for us. Second is the USA is trying to avert the greater war between Israel and Lebanon's Hezbollah movement. When we are talking about Lebanon, here you can say this is Israel, okay, and this is Lebanon over here. Now Lebanon and Israel are having border in the north part of northern border of, you can say, Israel is with Lebanon, and there is this group that is Hezbollah, okay. Now this Hezbollah is having some kind of rivalry with Israel and they are having this issue, and now USA is trying that this greater war should not start in this particular region, because obviously Israel is fighting in Gaza, okay, and then if this war also starts, so there will be a two front war which Israel has to face, okay. Then following the escalation in the cross-border fire between the foes along the Lebanon southern frontier, Iran-backed Hezbollah has been trading fire with Israel for the last 8 months. Okay, so this particular group, Hezbollah, as I told you, that Hezbollah group is basically backed by Iran. Okay, when we are talking about Iran, Iran is having certain proxies. Okay, Hezbollah is there. Then you know this Houthi rebels in the Yemen area. That Houthi rebels are also supported by Iran. When we are talking about Hezbollah, they are in Lebanon, but they are also supported by Iran. Okay, so when we are talking about the countries of some when we are talking about Sahel region also, there is also, you can see that there is influence of Russia as well as Iran. Okay, so that is there. Now coming to here, the last week the group fired the largest volley of the rockets and drones of the hostiles so far at the Israeli military sites. Okay, so that particular Hezbollah has attacked on the Israeli military sites. So that is why there is an envoy which has been sent to talk with the Lebanon side of the, you can say, their side, or Hezbollah rebels over there. So that is about the article. Now coming to the area over here, you can see this area is basically called your Middle East, which is given in the colors. Okay, so this area, Iran, Iraq, Turkey, Syria, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, you can say Oman, UAE, Qatar, etc. and Egypt. Okay, so this is basically your Middle East. When we are talking about this particular area, you know that this area, when we see this, these are having the oil resources, etc. These are basically Arab countries. We know them as Arab countries. Second thing is, this area is quite in, you can say, chaos. Okay, recently this chaos is basically related to your Israel-Hamas issues. And if we talk about the history, there is this Israel-Palestine issue. Okay, other than that, also Israel and Syria is also having certain issues. Okay, earlier Israel and Egypt, when we are talking about the 1960s and 1970s, there was this issue with all the Arab countries with Israel. Okay, after that there was this Abraham Accord which has been signed, normalization has came into relations. All these things are different, but right now when we are talking about the map, this area is under the chaos, and right now we will focus on this area. Here you can see in this particular map we have Israel. Okay, so this is Israel. Okay, then we have Lebanon over here. Okay, now Lebanon has Hezbollah, so this border having problem with Israel versus Hezbollah. Then comes Syria over here. Now this area, there was this war in 1967. Okay, under this particular war, wherein Israel, Egypt and Syria, they were there. Okay, so Israel has captured the area of Sinai Peninsula from Egypt and the Golan Heights from Syria. Okay, after that there was this another attempt to take back the Sinai Peninsula, but in 1973, but they were not successful. Israel won, but again in 1982 somewhere, Israel has given Sinai Peninsula back to Egypt. Okay, but again right now when we are talking about the Golan Heights, this area over here, that is still with the control of Israel. Okay, so this is a Syrian area which has been taken by Israel, so that is there. Okay, then there is the Sea of Galilee. Other than that, we have Dead Sea over here. Okay, so that is important for us. Then there is this Gaza Strip and the West Bank. This West Bank area has been taken by taken from the Jordan in this particular war, 1967 only. This area has been taken from the Jordan. Okay, and still it is in the possession of Israel. Then comes Gaza Strip. This Gaza Strip, this mostly when we are talking about the Palestinian population, they are living in the West Bank and the Gaza area. Okay, now these areas are basically, when we are talking about this West Bank, there are Israeli settlements as well. Okay, there is a Palestinian government obviously over here, but that is ultimately, you can say that Israel is still trying to you can say having a sway in this particular area. Now when we are talking about the Gaza, you know that Hamas, there is a group that is Hamas which are living in this particular area, and they have launched an attack on 7th of October, and after that this area is in war. Okay, so that is about this particular area. Here you can say Syria is there, Lebanon is there, Jordan is now having okay relation with Israel. Okay, Egypt is trying to make sure that peace again prevail in that particular area. This is Sinai Peninsula, which is part of Egypt. Okay, you know that this is Suez Canal area. Okay, that is important sea route, so that is also important. Okay, this is Gulf of Suez. Okay, Gulf of Aqaba is there. So I hope this is clear. Now this is Saudi Arabia over here. Okay, so I hope this is clear. Now we can move to the next part. that is basically related to some just information I would like to provide you, that Thailand's Senate passes a landmark bill to legalize same-sex marriages. Okay. So when we are talking about Southeast Asia, Thailand is the first country to do that. So that is the only fact which I wanted to tell you from this particular article. So that is all about it. Okay. Now moving to the last part for your own read. There is this article, where is the monsoon? Monsoon hits the Kerala coast on time, but afterwards right now we are seeing some dry spells. So the question is, where is the monsoon? So answer is in this particular article. So you have to read it, okay, and find out. Now moving to the last part, that is basically practice question for you. Which of the given country does not have boundary with Syria? Okay. So here you can see Lebanon, Saudi Arabia, Jordan and Israel. We have discussed it. So you can attempt this question and answer in the comment box. Okay. So there is this comment that it is not clearly visible. Obviously, this is news article. These screenshots are taken from the news article. If you can't see it, you can directly, take e-paper from the Indian Express sites, or otherwise there will be a PDF which will be uploaded of this particular document on the Telegram channel. Link is given in the description. You can download it from there. Okay, so you can go through this. Fine. With that, I would like to wrap up this session. If you have not subscribed it, please subscribe the channel. Thank you. Have a nice day.